a step outside and seize the day now. Set aside your worries, it's okay now. The sun is here to stay. Blue skies, feel the wind beneath you as you fly.
Hey YouTube, it's Janita from Blessed Depressed Creations. Today I am working on an order for a tumbler. And what you see before you is a design that I created. And the design was created to fit a 22-ounce fatty. Except after I got to where I was about to print it, I remembered the client wanted a 40-ounce tumbler and not the 22-ounce. So I have to recreate it to make it to fit the 40-ounce. So I want to stick with this design that I made, but I just have to change the dimensions of it. But what I am going to do, I'm going to keep this. Now, I don't have a whole bunch of orders for Scooby-Doo anything, but you never know. I'll post it and maybe somebody else will find that they would like that. And then I have the option to offer it. So even though I designed it for a 22-ounce fatty and it's not going to necessarily work on that, I'm going to leave it as an option for a 22-ounce fatty. And if someone desires that they want it, I'll be able to just add it on, go ahead and create it. I was going to restructure this, change the elements of it and then make it fit the 40-ounce. But in having already done this, starting this video and then stuff not going right, it'll just be easier for me to redesign it from scratch. And then that gives me the opportunity to make a video from start to finish creating the design. This is a file. These are elements from a file that I purchased from Etsy when my client said that they wanted a couple of items with Scooby-Doo on it. So I'm just going to put that over off to the side and then I'm going to get started. Now you see this white in the background of that. That's just because I took off the extra area on the original design elements. I needed it to fit on the 22-ounce fatty when I designed it. The 22-ounce fatty circumference was like 11-ish. So I needed it to be that size. But because some of these elements give you extra of this design edge was a lot longer than the actual image, I always go to the trace element panel and take that off so that I have these edges fitting closer to my actual design. We may end up doing that when I get to that, so I'll explain that to you as we go. So now these elements, I'm going to make it a little smaller just so that I only have it here for reference. So then I'll go out and I will show you what I'm going to do with that. Put that over here. I'm going to start by making me 2 squares that are going to measure the size of my design panel. So the top portion is what I'm going to work on first. That design area measures 5 1/4 high by 12 1/2 circumference. Fill this with white so that's what my background color will be. The width of this is going to be 6.25 by 5.25, and then I'm going to duplicate it because I need 2 panels to put side by side to make the full circumference of design area 1, which is the top of the tumbler. And then I'm going to go to my Scooby-Doo file and get the elements that I need for this mug. Right in here are my Scooby-Doo files. This one was a better quality than the first one, so I'm going to bring that in. And then I need to, well, before I put that in, let me get all of the elements that I need for that particular design. All right, so my panel, this is the measurement for my panel, so I need to have all these elements fit inside of there. I'm going to start with the center. I think I would like this, since this is going to be a little bit smaller, but I do want this to be my centerpiece. So let me see how that looks at a rough 3 inches, 3 by 3 inches. I could type it up here and put 3 by 3. And what I'm going to do immediately is get these 2 elements centered. Okay, and then what I'm going to do so that doesn't move, I want everything built around that. I'm going to group those 2 together immediately because everything else that I put in there, I want it to be built around this. I'm going to start with my largest piece and bring that down to size. I'm going to move this to the back, bring this up here, and then bring it down to size so that they fit and they're not on top of Scooby per se, but they're not so small that it kind of disappears. Let me just get everything in before I start resizing the middle part. I'm going to remove the background off of this. That's what I'm going to do with that. So to do that, I'm going to go to select trace area, and then I'm just going to put a box around that. It'll highlight just the image. I'm going to increase the threshold. I like to go as high as I can without getting all the little dots around it. So I'll take that 89 or 84. And I'm not going to move the element. I'm going to click on the background and drag that from behind it and throw that out. And then I do that because if there were any separate elements in there, it would make it a little square around it and you would be able to see it. But it seems like it's moving as one piece. Now with the background off of there, I don't have to worry about that white box being on top of Scooby's face. I can freely put this back there and resize it according to what I want to have happen with that particular box. Now these are not laying out just as, see how nicely they were all overlapping and everything there? That's not happening here because my height is a lot different in my width. So I had a taller height and a smaller width. Now I have a wider width and a smaller height, a shorter height. So I'll just have to manipulate things a little bit, but we'll get it to going. So what I did over here was I copied and pasted this because this is my shirt design part, and I want that to run synonymous, you know, go over here with this mug. Alright, I'm going with that. And then the mystery machine sign, I rotated it. What's this dog name? I don't remember that dog on Scooby-Doo. I don't know who that is. Okay, so that little bit of white in here doesn't matter because our canvas is white. So let's shrink him down. You want to have the elements touching in some way so that it kind of feels seamless. Alright, so that wasn't a bad recreation from what I had over here. Let's take a look at what I had on this panel. I like the way that looks. What I have to do before I group this all together is take this and duplicate it, because this is going to be my second panel. This is going to be the second panel, and that's going to allow the Scooby-Doo in the center to be in the same spot on both sides. So now let me look at the elements that I have on this side and pull those in. All right, now we're gonna find something to put in the background over there. I do want something right there. I don't know who this dog is right here, but I'm gonna see if I can stick him in there. I see that he has white in the background on him. No? Let's see if no, he's too big. Now what's going to end up happening here if I leave this size, they're gonna clash. So I need to shrink these down a little bit so that when I put everything together, it doesn't touch in that regard. All right, let's go with that and let's see what we get. All of these elements on this side, we want to group them together and make one seamless situation there. All of these elements on this side, we want to group them together. All right, and then we're going to put this and this side by side. It can overlap a little bit. All right, let me ungroup this. You see what's happening? Daphne's hand is underneath because they were designed separately. I'm going to ungroup this. Bring this to the front so that Daphne's hand is up. Now I'm looking. Now I like the way that it flows. Now I'm going to highlight everything. Remember I told you my circumference of the mug is 12.5. With the design I have here, this says it's almost 13. And that is because you see how these elements have that extra edge on it. My design stops here. But if you look at this, see how much of this extra over here is on this sign? We don't need that. So once I get everything lined up, I need to select trace area on the whole image. So to get it so that I can make it within the frame size I need, I'm going to highlight everything that I have. I'm looking at the edges and the border. You see right up here at the top, one of the elements is bringing a whole about almost a ½ an inch to the height of the design. Because remember, I need this to be 5.25, but right now I'm at 5.788. I need this to be 12.25, and I'm at 12.984. So I'm going to group everything together. I have everybody where they need to be. It's a nice flow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the zoom out some so I don't have that big space. Go with the trace, select trace area, select my entire design. There we go. I'm going to take the threshold up as high as I can go without getting speckles and little things. 93. I want my text to be a little bit more defined. 99, 100. I got 100. So let's go with the 100. I see little specks of things like this right here. When I get it off, I'm going to take that out so I don't have that. So I'm going to say trace and detach. And it will leave some white in the background, but that's going to be fine because we're going to be using a white canvas to print to, so it's going to be okay. Hopefully this helps someone that might be interested in making a design for sublimation. And I'm going to do my very, very best to share the video of me sublimating. I don't know why, but my SD card fills up so fast when I'm creating a video. I do have larger ones, but you know, ones with bigger space, I just have to take the time to put it in there. Okay, so we got that separated. I'm going to click on the background and take the background out. And remember up here somewhere we had that one little thing right there. I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to make sure I group everything else back together. Okay, and you see that there's some spaces that have white behind it, but it's perfectly fine. So now I'm at 12.352. which when you think in terms of this little bit of white edge, so we got rid of all of that extra, we're down to 5.161 and 12.352 by getting rid of the extra dead white space. Now I need to shrink it down to where it's the size that I need width-wise. So what I'm going to do up here, I'm going to see how it looks if I go with 12.2, okay, by 5.1. And I haven't lost any quality on anything by making it a straight 12 inches. Okay, now with this being a 12-inch wide design, I need to use my 17 by 11 or 13 by 19 paper. 13 by 19 I don't have anymore. I'm waiting on that to get delivered. So I'm going to have to print this out to an 11 by 17 inch paper. I do not want to waste my paper. This background right here is 11 by 17, right? 17 by 11. I don't believe in wasting my paper. So if I print this out, I have room to actually do another one here, and I could probably have put this one over here somewhere. So I need some other elements that I need to print to put on this piece of paper so that I can print this out. So I have some masks that I have to design and that I have to do print out to send out. So what I'm going to do is the mask designs that I have, I'm going to print them on here. When you see this again, when we go over to get it put inside of the oven, this page is going to have the other designs that I'm going to put on there. So I'm going to end this video here at this particular point. I hope that I explained this process clearly enough to you so that you're able to go ahead and do this. If you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions, ideas, or anything you would like to see us try and do, please, by all means, add it into your comments down on the video. Like, subscribe, follow, share, do all that wonderful stuff so you can help us grow. And we do so appreciate you tuning in, following us, watching what we do. And thank you again once more, and I'll see you on the other side of this design. Have a great day.